What's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. I'm here today on the 30th day of the 75 Hard program. You're required to do two 45-minute workouts. One of them has to be outside. This workout here, what I actually do is like an AM and a PM split. And sometimes the AM split doesn't last 45 minutes, so I'm going to throw some cardio in there too. And, do that outside after this one. I'm going to be doing hamstrings today. I actually haven't done them in about 7 days. I was just looking at the dates. I'm like, damn, I need to get one of those in. So I'm going to do that today, get it on film for you guys. It's pretty brief and infrequent, but it's intense and it works, dude. And so I'm going to get right into these exercises. Going to do a lot of warm-up sets just to get my knees and the blood flowing, to prevent some injury there. But that being said, once I do actually get into it, I'm going to be hitting it pretty hard, pretty fast, and, keeping that intensity high. So, yeah, let's get into it, man. I'm going to start over here with just basic leg extensions, do a bunch of just, warm-up sets with no weights, and start working my way up into progressive overload type of sets and sets to failure. So
mentally hardened that you don't have to negotiate with yourself. This goes back to the last question. The negotiation process for most people is what kills their power. It's that fucking story that it's not that most people don't know what to do. It's that most people know what to do and then talk themselves out of doing it. All right, so you're 19.
I actually do gotta have a little bit of weight on this one.
The importance of building this mindset. You already understand the want and the drive and the ambition to become the best possible version of yourself. So what I'm going to recommend to you is that you have a little patience to understand that you're 19, bro. Not very many people, quote unquote, step into their greatness at 19.
Yeah, one reason I haven't been doing any exercises here for hamstrings is just because I've got better equipment at the gym that I use. And this one's a little, could be more specific, but it is what it is, man. I'm going to get it down today just because I want to make sure that I'm getting complete workouts for you guys, full body, and really my entire routine down on tape and on film, just so you guys can see.
That human being who asked that question is on a different path than 99% of the people. And all of their friends, all of that person's friends fall into that 99%. So just understand, because at 19, you really don't know shit. Like this dude is rolling the dice thinking like, okay, I think I'm on the right path. Trust me when I tell you that you're on the right path. None of your friends know fucking shit. All those friends saying all
yeah, I've only got, I'm going to do,
take it easy,
5 workouts for hamstrings.
Bro, they're not gonna be able to fucking
And I busted up. I used to do just one big leg day. And, have quads and hamstrings in the same exact sitting, last, an hour, hour and a half, some shit like that. But whenever I did it like that, then I would give more focus to the first muscle group that I was actually working out. And then on the second one, then I'd slack off. So if I split them up into like an AM and PM session where I do quads and then hamstrings or vice versa, whatever, as long as it's split up, then I feel like I give more focus to that actual muscle group that I'm working. And then whenever I go to the next PM workouts, like then I'm focused on that. So I feel like it's just better all around, and you give it the focus it actually deserves.
Like most people that get to that point,
most people ain't got the time for a split.
Their fucking life is over.
I'm surprised I'm actually able to find the time too, but it's really just because I take a break in between work. I've got, a little 45-minute to an hour window. I can get a little workout in there.
All right. Squeezing of your own human potential out of yourself so that you have a great fucking story when it's time to go on to the next thing. So
basically you gotta let the cake bake.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, are there things that you think that he should be avoiding? Right? Like is it the gurus? Because I feel like the younger crowd, man, they do have the attacks. They're just getting pulled in different directions.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that are preying on people like this.
Right.
Like, bro, look,
right.
I know, like, at 19 years old, like this person here, they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
But it would be very easy for someone who's 30 years old or 40 years old who has, the appearance of some sort of winning to convince them that they're not on the right path, and that you need them, and you need this, bro. Listen.
And actually, one thing with these leg workouts is I've got to really kind of find out different ranges of motions and different types of exercises to protect my knees, man, because I've done a lot of damage to them. And so, but the thing is, I'm also in the spring cut too. So I'm basically finding that as I drop weight, then I feel like I've got less strain on my joints and specifically on my knees. So I actually feel like really, really good today. That's probably a reason why. I started at like let's say around 180, like 178, 179, 180. And I'm down to like 171. By the end of the day, I think I'll actually hit the 170 mark. So I've already lost 10 pounds in 30 days. You know, what's that about, I don't know, I ain't even going to do the math. 1 pound every 10 days. Or no, I don't know what it is. I'm going to try to do it, but spring cut's going super good. Really excited to see where it goes. I've got around 45 more days to go, so I'm going to try to get down to about 160, 155, 160.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
If you could develop that ability, bro.
Do a couple more warm-up sets here, and then we'll start going into more progressively heavy sets.
Your goals in business will not be a problem. Relationships will not be a problem. Because now you have the power to resist all things that do not align with what you're trying to do. And a lot of people who are losers will say, well, that doesn't sound very fucking fun. Well, you know what doesn't sound fun to me? Being a fucking loser who can't pay their shit. That lives life on their terms. Meaning the fucking higher powers that be. Meaning being a little fucking sheep or a little cog in the big wheel. Like, there's nothing worse.
I'm gonna call that good on the warm-ups.
Not only is it fun to be unplugged and be your own person and be doing your own things, it's 1,000 times more fun than the typical loser behavior of Thursday night out, Friday night out, Saturday night out. And you know how I know this? Because I lived that life before I lived this. Real talk. Today, a lot of you guys have followed First Form, which you should. Today was the 7-year anniversary of the video I made where I was getting out of bed, where I was 330 fucking pounds. And Emily brought it to my attention this morning. She's like, you know, today was 7 years that you guys made that video. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, that's a pretty big accomplishment. I had never gone back. I never once fucking went back. I never got fat again. I never fucking went. Like, that was the day that everything fucking changed. My post thing.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The point is that, dude, if you develop yourself at 19 years old as someone who can say yes to the things that push you down the road you want to be on and no to the things that pull you off of that road, and you can do that consistently, and then if you do choose to indulge, it's a choice, right? It's something you're allowing. It's not something that's sucking you in. There's a big difference there. People don't understand.
Even just the regret.
Yeah, it's not that you have to have abstinence from the enjoyment or the fruits of life, right? Like, alcohol has been in the fucking culture for thousands of years, bro. The reason it has been is because it's pretty fucking fun, okay? But we're not supposed to have fun 24/7. This is part of the cultural conditioning that I think we have been given to in this whole entire country. They tell you that you should be happy 24/7, and if you're not happy 24/7, you're depressed. They tell you that you should have fun 24/7. And if you're not having fun 24/7, there's something wrong with you. You're a weirdo. You're obsessed.
Too serious.
You're too serious. You need to live a little. Bro, the reason people look the way they do and have the lives they live is because they live a little all the fucking time. So when you become someone who can control these things, that's a fucking superpower, bro, that most people don't have. Like, most people do not have that power. To me, like, you know, where I've done this program for years on end now, not years directly, but every year, for 4 years in a row, it's bizarre to me, and I don't say this to be rude, but I was the worst offender of this. And this is a testament to how far you can go. I was the person who couldn't go to a restaurant. Like, I like toasted raviolis. I'm in St. Louis, we got toasted raviolis. Like you might not have
It's a
it,
staple.
but I'm telling you right now, it's the best shit ever.
Roast the rats and smoke sports parties.
Right. Yeah. I had to stop saying yes to those too.
Right.
So, but I couldn't go to a restaurant without ordering an appetizer. Okay, like it was conditioned into me. Like I had to order toasted raviolis or nachos or some shit. And it wasn't something I could even control. I had to do it. I did it every time. And like if I was sitting there and I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, fuck, I know I shouldn't order that thing. But fuck it, I'm gonna order it anyway. And here's the problem with that mindset. When you are letting
Give it a couple more seconds. This is going to be the set I take to failure.
ultimately feel less.
Now I'm going to start moving into a lot of the other exercises that I do pretty quickly. Next one's going to be the Romanian Deadlift, which is targeted right on the hamstrings and the glutes. I'm going to do a little bit of a different range of motion today for the Romanian Deadlifts, just to see if I can squeeze out just a little bit extra tension on that muscle, which is going to be back fully extended. I'm going to play with that movement and see, just to make sure I'm not missing out on any extra gains I could be getting. Alright, hit this one to failure here.
Having a great life.
Just gonna close my eyes and dig in, man.
If you can run at 19 years old, dude, you're way ahead of everybody.
Well, guys, that's 3, 4. Yeah, what's 4?
Don't fucking lie and try to lead me. Turds. Alright,
That was 4. Take a show if you want some more.
don't be a hoe.
Take a shot.
Something where you walk away from something would be an insurmountable obstacle that has no actual solution to it. There are things that happen in reality that make us change course. Almost everything that makes us think is an obstacle can't be a reason as to why you can't. It's actually just part of the journey that is more difficult than the rest of the journey. And
Should have dropped weight on that a little bit.
the journey of the ones that
Went up a little too high. It's kind of sloppy form on that. You definitely still feel it. And I remember why I went 7 days without doing hamstrings. It's because when I came back around to my normal cycle, I'd usually would have at least done them one more time in between the last time and now. But I remember why is because whenever I finally cycled around, they were still sore, so I took extra days until today, which they are completely, I feel like, healed up. I actually feel a lot better too. So just a rest day here and there, if you throw it in at random, it's like, it fucking really works. Alright, so I'm gonna go over here, Romanian deadlifts. I've been doing the form kind of just as the bar flat against my shins basically, and just to straight up pull up and stop about here. And I'm gonna go and see if, kind of going all the way up and flexing at the end will give me any sort of better focus or whatever. Just experiment with it. Probably will in a way. This isn't a deadlift where you're bending your knees and pulling up. Just the knees locked, basically, and bending over at the hip. Boom, and you're just targeted right on those hamstrings right there.
We are all good at certain things
So,
sort of naturally. For me, one of the things that I've always been good at is I've always been able to really see what's coming down the road. I have good vision for what's happening in front of me, which has it's lent itself to becoming successful in business because as I've acquired actual skills through business, accompanied with the gift of being able to kind of see around corners where other people don't even realize there's a corner, that makes the total package work.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So we all have gifts, but most people look at gifts the wrong way. Most people will either try to ride their gifts their entire life and think that will get them and it won't. Because there's plenty of people that have great
Not really used to that range of motion. Feels a little different. Does feel like I can get a little extra something out of it whenever I get to the top and I kind of arch my back a little bit and squeeze.
Likewise, someone who
I can tell on the way down, those hamstrings are really engaged. I'm gonna try that out for the first warm-up set or two. So what I did basically with the leg curls was just pre-exhaust the hamstrings. So whenever I start to move in to all of the other exercises for hamstrings, then I've already, started really kind of depleting the, I don't know, not really depleting, but I've really started to chip into and bring it as close to, be able to bring it as close to failure in all these other exercises.
Talk about him quite often, actually.
Probably better than if I didn't do it first. Anyways, I'm just saying that I pre-exhausted with that workout there, and I'm gonna start moving into these other ones. Anyways,
he didn't know any of the songs, so we got on iTunes. We played the song.
Probably do 1 or 2 warm-up sets. I don't know. Whenever I fucking feel like doing here.
I personally had never seen anybody do that. This man was in his 50s. I fucking remember saying to him specifically, I'm like, dude, you got offended. It's like, dude, I've been playing guitar for 40 years. That's not talent. That's skill. That's work that I put in. And that's stuff. Like, don't ever tell someone who's been doing something for very long how lucky they are, how gifted they are, how talented they are. In reality, they've been doing it for 20-something, 30-something, 40 years. Bro, those are skills. You see what I'm saying? So there's a way that it really is, and then there's a way most people see it. And the way it really is that we all have things that we're naturally better at than other people. And you may be sitting there right now thinking, no, there's
I don't know. We'll be able to tell tomorrow how effective those full range deadlifts are right there, Romanian deadlifts. But I feel like it kind of takes some tension off of the hamstring whenever I pause at the top, versus just like utilizing the bottom range of that motion. But tomorrow we'll see what it feels like whenever I try to get out of bed.
They were born that way. God given. Yeah, bro. Like they think people who are good at business come out of the womb knowing everything about business. They think LeBron James comes out because he's.
I feel like it's kind of got my range of motion off too, because I'm in kind of experimenting with the new movement.
You can't deny the guy's fucking how good of a basketball player he is. Fucking one of the best that ever fucking played. That guy works his ass off. Kobe Bryant worked his ass off. Michael Jordan worked his ass off. There's a common theme amongst people that you guys think are just born that way, and the theme is they work their fucking ass off, and most people just aren't willing to do that, so they see everything as talent or gift or luck.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do one warm-up set for each exercise, and then do my 1 set to failure on top of that. I am wanting to bring my volume down a little bit more, which would be getting a couple of the warm-up sets out of the way and moving into my 1 set to failure quicker now. So kind of collapsing that time, bringing the intensity even higher in a shorter amount of time. But also I just feel like it's a recovery ability thing too. The more sets you do, then the more you're digging into your body's resources, and the more resources your body has to basically come up with to produce growth there. Like if you dig a hole, you got to first fill in the hole and then build on top of it. So you deplete it, you dig the hole, and then the body's resources has to fill that hole, and then it has to overcompensate. So I feel like the more sets you do into your body's reserve ability and resources, then the less it's actually going to be able to put for the actual growth itself. So I'm trying to make sure I'm finding that fine line in between how many sets I'm doing enough sets to stimulate growth, and I'm also doing it within my body's ability to actually recover for that growth. That's actually the big thing with the high intensity. All right, we'll get into this set here to failure.
Outside of Tony Robbins.
Get focused here.
Doing very well. But all the other ones, I'm past those guys at this point at 43, which is pretty fucking young to pass a whole man's life's work. So what happened for me was I didn't think I had shit. And I looked at all these dudes who I now surpassed as having all these gifts that I didn't have. And so I accepted for me to ever become that. And I'm not saying that to brag, by the way. I'm saying that as a matter of fact. I'm saying that to serve the purpose of the story. It's just true. I knew because I didn't have the skills and talent that they had that I was going to have to fucking work. I was going to have to fucking work really fucking hard. And so that actually served me. All right, but most people it doesn't serve because they don't accept the reality that they say, fuck it, I will do whatever I have to do to get there. They don't accept that path. They just say, well, fuck, that guy got lucky, or that guy was born.
Grip strength was kind of failing there.
Place at the right time, or this or that, and this. And by the way, there are cases of that, but it's not the norm. The norm is.
I'm gonna put that in my journal. I need to use some straps on this exercise next time.
You learn skills and you work to complement and keep building those things inside yourself.
Felt good though.
I think most people, you know, I think most people never give themselves enough credit for their own gifts because they look at the result of their life that they're in right now and they say, well, fuck, dude, I must not have any gifts because I'm living in a $700 a month apartment. I'm driving a shitty car. I don't have any money in a bank account. Like, I must not have any gifts. And that's just not the truth, bro. You're young. You haven't really tried anything yet. And I don't say that to be mean. I just tell you the fact. Like, what was the last time you did something for 5 years, every single day, without any lapse, ever? Most people can't name any 5 months. Dude, I know, but it takes the 5 years, right? So, like, at a minimum, it took me fucking 10. You guys have different technology, so it's different for you guys. But my point is that most people, when you challenge them on, you know, are they really in a bad spot?
All right, so the next exercise is going to be squats. I'm going to do them on a machine rather than just a regular barbell. It's usually kind of a quad workout, but I've found if you pre-exhaust with a couple exercises for hamstrings first, and then go over and do the squats, then it'll tear the back of your legs up, dude. Because it's almost like a weak link in that movement, so it starts taking a lot of the hit of that movement. So I found I'll do squats on quad day, and I'll do squats on maybe a hamstring day too. So, and if those are split like 3 or 4 days apart, then you can hit squats twice a week, even though it's for the quads and one's for the hamstrings. But yeah, I'm gonna go over here, do some squats. Do probably one set to warm up with, just because it's a new machine, new movement. Get kind of in the groove and then just load on my heavy one set to failure.
Than most of the other people I know. And I was better at it than most of the people I know that were even more successful than me at that time. And so at first I was like, am I really better at that? Or too myself, right? And what ended up happening is I started questioning, okay, I've got this thing that I think I'm better at than these other guys, and I started paying attention to it, and I realized, okay, yes, I have the ability to see things in terms of a timeline, to see trends or see what's happening or where the direction is going in terms of like psychological, consumer bases. And I realized just from keeping going that I did actually have that. And then as I learned skills, it got stronger, and that's what has been one of my main strengths in my life, in all areas. So, I think most of us have gifts. I think most of us believe we don't because we're not producing anything right now. And I think the reason we're not producing anything right now has a lot more to do with the fact that you haven't done anything consistently long enough to actually produce the result. And so therefore we believe that we don't have any gifts, and we end up living our whole lives thinking we don't have shit and we got fucked. And it's just not the truth.
It's not that you're not capable. You just ain't good.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love it. Well, it is Q&A. Let's give people what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Andy, question number 1. Andy, I have recently become aware that I am constantly seeking validation or approval from others when it comes to certain decisions or sometimes even my own feelings in different situations. I know that this has to do somewhat with a lack of self-confidence or trust in who I am, but I'm wondering, where would you start in learning to overcome this need of seeking validation?
Man, you know, I'm being real. I think most people struggle with that. I think no matter how confident you are, you're still going to struggle with that. And I think getting to the ultimate place of confidence is basically, you know, not giving a fuck what other people have to think about what it is that you feel or do or say. But the reality is that some people go to I don't give a fuck and they become toxic pieces of shit. So I think it's important to like still care what some people perceive your decision making or your decisions to be, because you have people that you care about and they care about you. And I think the biggest problem that we have in society when it comes to this is that it's not that we need to not have validation from anybody, it's that we seek validation from the wrong people. And I think that the internet has created that mentality. We have a situation now where we are literally seeking validation in the terms of likes, shares, and comments from people that we've never met, will likely never meet, and we have no idea what kind of people they are. We don't know if they're actually who they are on the internet. We don't know if they're pretending to be somebody. We don't know if they're the, you know, if they're good, if they're bad, if they're a piece of shit, or if they're excellent. We have no idea. So like we're out there competing for validation from people that we don't even know, and we stop worrying about the validation that we actually need from the people that we care about, and that can get us all fucked up. And I think the internet, like, you know, has done that to people. I think the internet has created a situation where most people look for validation from complete strangers over their own family members, which is not good. It's not a good thing to be. And so I would say that first off and foremost, really think about who it is that you're seeking validation from, because if it's someone in your family or a friend who you look up to who maybe is doing a little better than you, maybe they can help you confirm that you feel in the right way, or look in the right way, or move in the right way, or doing the right actions. And those things can be important to your success. But worrying about what...
Catch my breath here, and I'm going to go into the set here.
You need to get over, because, dude, those people, most of them, real talk, like most of those people that you're seeking validation from, you'll never meet, you'll never know, they're not your friend, they'll turn on you in a second, like they're with the wind. You know, whichever way the wind's blowing, bro, they're going to feel about you. So, like, you have to kind of put that shit out of your mind completely and just say, I am who the fuck I am. And then, you know, sometimes if you're in doubt, you seek counsel from people who you trust and, you know, that care about your best interests, and, you know, you make a decision based upon that.
Let's talk about the elephant thing, because I keep hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, how much of this need for validation and confirmation from others, how much of that would go away if you actually had the confidence in knowing that the decisions that you make actually produce a good outcome?
Most of it.
Is that where it comes from, right?
Yes, most of it. Because most people don't even believe in themselves, because they constantly lie to themselves about what they're going to do, and then they don't follow through and do it. So until you've built a base level of self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-respect, by following the commitments that you make to yourself, meaning like, I'm gonna get in shape, you get in shape. I'm gonna fucking make $1 million, you make $1 million, okay? Like, you have to follow through on this shit. I'm gonna get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you gotta get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Be small and large, right? And when we think about how much of the validation seeking it removes, most of it, because the reason most people seek validation is because they don't believe that they're actually doing the right thing in the first place. So if we can become confident in the fact that we know we're doing everything that we can do on a daily basis to move us towards where we're trying to go, and we can actually physically look at that and say, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Now we're in a situation where it's like, bro, I'm doing shit no other motherfucker's doing. Why the fuck am I gonna ask them what I'm gonna do about me when I know I'm out here doing all the work? See what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is, you know, I plug this all the time, but this is why you should go listen to episode 275 Hard Workout episode and do the fucking program, because it establishes a baseline of self-confidence where it removes your propensity to seek validation from people that aren't doing shit. Like, you will get done with that 75 first days, and hopefully continue on with Live Hard, and at least at the end of the first 75 days, you will look around and you'll be like, these motherfuckers, why am I asking this guy for advice? Why am I asking this lady for advice? She doesn't do shit. Like, you start realizing that these people that you're seeking validation from are actually fucking not worthy of your ask for validation. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like, dude, a lot of it comes from that. Most people, though, like I said in the intro to the show, most people do not do anything for long enough to prove to themselves that they are capable of doing anything. So like, this is a big problem, because if you don't stick to something long enough to see it bear fruit, how can you ever believe in yourself that you can do things? So you have to do things to know that you can do things. You see what I'm saying? So like we have to get to a point in society where we have a baseline level of self-confidence. We understand that if we put in the actions, the results will come, you know, inputs, outputs, and these things equate to an understanding that allows us to dismiss most of the validation seeking that we would have before. You see what I'm saying? So like you have to grow past it. And the way you grow past it is by making sure that you've got a baseline level of self-confidence, self-esteem, self-belief, discipline, grit, fortitude. These are things that other people do not fucking have. How confident are you going to be in yourself when you can look around and you can
I actually feel really good today.
none of these
Good and strong.
this shit I'm doing. Like, dude, this is how I look at the world, right? Like,
Those few days I took off
say about me, right?
definitely helped.
I love everybody, bro. I'm out here trying.
And it's kind of weird that I kind of dropped my calories to about the 1,200 calories range, which you think you'd be out of energy. But I feel like I'm actually more mentally clear. And it's almost like whenever because I'm in a fasted state. I haven't ate since last night at like 9 o'clock. But it's almost like I'm happier. It's kind of weird.
Well, fuck yeah, I bet if I were him, I'd probably hate me too. But here's the reality.
Like life is more crisp.
Here's the reality, dude.
I don't know, man. So you'd think being at a caloric deficit would have less energy, and you would actually be, I don't know, not hitting your maxes as good. And probably if I do this for long enough, then that'll probably be true. I'm probably working off a lot of my body's resources, like stored fat and stuff. But just maybe those couple days off, man, made the difference. Okay, so basically, I did all the movements I have done so far. They're kind of double leg movements, like.
I do it all the time.
And I'm basically saying that, especially with squats, Romanian deadlift, and leg extension, like, dude, you're probably, doing more of the workload with your dominant leg or your dominant side versus your non-dominant. So I'm gonna do one more set to failure with leg extensions, doubles, and then I'm gonna go into a set of singles with my left side and then my right side. But before that burn wears out from squats, I want to move right into my next set with the max. So, just keep it going. Dropped weight a little bit because that last set that I did to failure on these was a little bit forced, not as focused as I'd like, but all right, let's get into it.
What do you think of this? Talk to my dad. My dad fucking is a pretty smart motherfucker. See what I'm saying? Like these things, like, allow me to, because I understand them and respect them and understand who they are and what they think and how they think. And then sometimes I'll ask people that I know don't see the world the same way, but I respect how they do things. And say, hey, what's this feel like to you? How does this feel to you? You see what I'm saying? So like, dude, it's important that if you're really, at the end of the day, what's really important is truly what you actually believe. But if you do have to seek counsel or seek validation. You know what I'm saying? Seeking validation is like seeking permission, approval. This is where a lot of CEOs and managers do this, surround themselves with yes people. These things can be very fun for you because these people are telling you what you want to do. That's kind of like seeking validation. You want counsel. Seeking counsel means I'm going to seek the truth, even if it's not.
It's kind of forcing them down and catching that negative on the way up. Assisted with my hands down and let my hamstrings catch the negative up. Trying to find a fine line in between. Is it about just getting like a moderate weight that you control and just burning out the muscle? Or is it about just putting heavy ass weight on there that really is at the verge of your capability and swinging it around and letting your body kind of learn to cope to that weight? Like, which one is it? I've heard some from bodybuilders, if you want to be big and strong and big, then you got to lift heavy weight. And I see them swing a lot of weight around rather than just really strict form and movement. So it's something that, like, I try to keep in mind while I'm doing all this. You know, I'm holding, you know, two opposing views in my mind. Is it better just maximum contraction, or is it better for just straight up swinging heavy fucking weight? Because, I mean, if you think about it, if you're doing heavy weight and you're swinging it, it's still working something. So either way, you're going to get stronger. But so I'm just kind of testing the theory out, seeing what I think. Honestly, if I wanted to do it properly, it'd probably be do the heavy theory for like 6 weeks or a month and see what I think visual-wise in the mirror, and then also logging it with my training journal versus 6 weeks or, you know, a month of just doing maximum contraction with proper form, visual-wise in the mirror, and then, you know, the data that I recorded. If you wanted to get specific and just take, you know, then you don't have to think about it anymore. You know now. So really, just to narrow down my exercise would probably be a good thing to do, which I'm not going to at this point in time. But it's on my mind, is what I'm saying. Alright, so I'm going to drop weight. I'm going to go into the one leg hamstring curls. This is actually going to be the last exercise for hamstrings. I don't really like doing calves on leg day. I'd rather save them for a different day, just because I feel like it puts my knees in a bind. But I don't know, I'll see what time we're at. If I need to go a little bit more time, I'll just do them.
A lot of good nuggets there.
Probably will.
Question number 2, Andy.
All right.
Andy, I am a young woman, 25 years old, and business owner, less than 4 years in the game. Growing up poor, I was raised to be very competitive, and that has played a big role in me being a high achiever. I often find myself anxious, hyper-fixated, and overworked on growing my business for fear that if I'm not the best that I can be, I'll lose everything. While I'm in the beginning of this journey to become undeniable in my niche, I continue to be brutally hard on myself to the point that it's hard for me to even enjoy the wins. Have you experienced this, and what tactics could you give me to feel more at peace with my journey while still retaining the competitive?
Well, first of all, I think everything you're saying is pretty normal for a high-achieving person, so that should give you a little boost. You're not in the wrong place. I think you're seeing it exactly the way you should see it. Business is highly competitive. You will lose everything. You do not show up every single day with high urgency to fucking get better. It's the most competitive atmosphere. It's more competitive than any sport. It's more competitive than any fucking anything. It's the most competitive thing to do is to own and operate a business. Because people will cut your fucking throat to get ahead. So, you have to show up every day. You have to show up every day with intent. You have to show up every day with intensity. You have to do it. It's required. Okay? That's a requirement. It's not optional. And I would say that you actually, for where you are in business, are looking at it exactly how you should look at it.
Oh.
I know exactly what that's like.
Kind of
because I grew up in business.
I felt weird.
Shit, and I didn't celebrate wins. I didn't fucking, because dude, the win I had today was still even a little bitty piece of what I'm trying to do. I didn't give a fuck. Okay, that's what I expect. I expect to win and get those things done. And so, when we really think about how we should think, our minds are sort of poisoned by this happy-go-lucky happiness culture where people think that happiness is the ultimate outcome of their entire life or their entire day or their entire existence, and they should do nothing inside their day that doesn't create happiness. And that's just an unrealistic way to view the world, because if you're constantly going to do the same thing over and over and over that makes you happy, you're not doing any of the uncomfortable things that push you to grow. All right? And this is a big problem, because while you may be happy at 20, 25, 30, 35, living a free, happy-go-lucky life, minimalist life, when you get to fucking 55 and you're still having to work that shitty job because you have to eat, you're not going to be very happy. So we have to be realists in how we look at the process of happiness. So for someone who is so young, someone who is wanting to build a business, I think it's very appropriate that you come to work every day with urgency, that you are highly competitive, that you want to win, and that you don't over-celebrate your wins, because those wins don't mean shit. because they're only a little bitty bump in the fucking, you know, in the big scheme of things. So the whole reason I've gotten to where I'm at in life is because of that mentality. Now here's what I will say. To the contrary of that, there are, as a 43-year-old dude who's been in business for 24 fucking years, okay? I've been in business longer than I have. Okay?
That's crazy to think
Yeah.
about. Like, if you could just pause on that.
I'm just
All
saying,
right.
I've been doing this longer
Do
than
maybe 2 sets of standing calf raises,
Here's something I do.
1 or 2 sets of seated calf raises. Keep it brief and infrequent. Just shock the fuck out of the muscle whenever I do the exercise, and then call that good.
Easily appreciated those wins and still gotten here had I got to work the next day. All right? Meaning, it's okay to celebrate. And in fact, go celebrate hard. But do it for 24 hours. After that 24 hours is over, get right back to it. All right? That's how I would have lived had I had the perspective that I have now. I didn't always do that. And that's something that I wish I would have done. I wish I would have had a little more fun with my team along the way. I wish I would have celebrated a little more when we did some big shit along the way. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all perspective. I have the perspective now. I enjoy those wins now. We had much bigger wins because I had the attitude that this person had back in the day. And I think that's a productive attitude. And anybody who says it isn't is probably, you know, looking at the internet and seeing all these people travel around on their fucking self-love fucking discovery journeys, you know, and everybody's, you know, look, dude, you guys see these motherfuckers posting these pictures, traveling around, doing all this shit. You don't see their bank account. You don't fucking see their bank account. You don't see what's going in there. You have no fucking idea.
You don't hear the conversations when the camera
No,
stop rolling.
yeah, you're buying an idealistic look at life that isn't accurate and will get
I
you
lied. I'm only doing 1 set to failure.
down the road. Because, dude, do you really want to be 55 working
On
at
that.
Starbucks? Do you really want to be 55 working fucking anywhere? Well, that
Jesus.
means you're going to have to fucking work now. That means you're going to have to take it serious now. That means you're going to have to show up just like this young woman is every fucking day with the attitude that I'm going to kick some fucking ass and get high urgency. And that goes for entrepreneurs, it goes if you have a job, it goes for fucking entrepreneurs, it goes for everybody that wants to win. And this bullshit idea that we can fucking balance out perfect happiness with fucking progress is a lie. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie told by the internet that's handicapping lots of people. And there's lots of people who are in their 20s right now and early 30s who, when they're in their 50s, they're gonna fucking regret that they did what they're doing right now. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So to this young woman who wrote this question, do not fucking buy that shit. Understand there's nothing wrong with you. You're doing what's required to win, and that's important for your phase in life right now. And anybody who says
One thing that I always remind myself of, I always go back to, I know I'm being repetitive on it, but at 1 set to failure, is it enough? Well, if you look at, you like nature, like you got big rhinoceroses, hippos, the gorilla, lions. Well, dude, like a gorilla, 400-pound gorilla doing a 1-arm pull-up. Boom, 400 pounds on 1 freaking arm. You don't see them doing reps. You don't see them doing 5 sets of 5. They just do 1 or 2 at maximum intensity, and that's what builds the muscle. They're fucking brute beasts, dude. And if you look at a sprinter versus a long-distance runner, you got the sprinter, he runs 100 meters as fast as he can until he's literally at his body's max the whole time, and he's got the big legs. Whereas long distance runners got the, you know, small stringy legs, and they're about endurance, you know. So that brief and infrequent, most people don't realize that it doesn't take a whole lot of time to build muscle. Like, you can come in here, if you move from 1 set to the next, from 1 heavy set to failure for about 5 different exercises per body part. You know, I'm telling you, bro, like by the end of it, you're just like you're spent because you're operating on your body's max capacity in the red line area the entire time, versus if you're just doing pussy ass sets and then, you know, just doing a bunch of them. Like, typically you'll have to do a ton of volume just to, you know, present your body with enough of a you know, threat to its physiology to actually create the adaptive response. But that's what I always revert to back in my mind, is that illustration with the gorilla.
I can't think of a career path you could pick It would be actually harder.
It's brief and infrequent,
My entrepreneur is starting.
shock and awe.
I can't think of it. And so, like, dude, you're literally picking the hardest fucking way to go in life, and then you're surprised that it's hard. Like, it's hard. It's hard. And these glory stories that are told on the internet.
And if you're squeezing your calves the entire time,
They're just not the truth.
as you go up, it's like you're basically flexing
It's a
and you're working it to the top, all the way down to the bottom.
program or course.
And they say that you get the best growth in the
Hey, guess what?
contracted position. So you got to go to the fully contracted place to get that best stretch and therefore the growth too. But just flexing the entire time, squeezing out and pounding out reps. Learn how to put your mind in the muscle you're actually looking to target, and just fucking driving it home until you start to feel them fibers ripping on the last couple sets.
And sometimes last for months. There's going to be, nobody's going to relate. No one's going to understand why you're doing it. Everybody's going to you're going to have answer. It's going to piss you off. This is the life that you're choosing. Like, you're choosing, and then
If you ain't doing that exercise right there
this is what the fuck you're signing
until you feel chills and goosebumps over your body, you're not fucking doing it right.
Show me something
Oh,
that says
shit.
that, and I'll fucking show you they ain't built shit.
Oh.
That's a beautiful thing, though. It's like, yes,
All right.
it's gonna be all those things.
There's people who have built businesses around saying those.
All right, so that's day 30 of 75 hard. It's a hamstring workout. If you guys like how I cover the workouts, walk you through them, and just kind of just the stuff I talk about, please subscribe. If it's not for you, don't subscribe. All good, man. We'll part as friends. This is day 30 as well of the spring cut. I started the program and my spring cut on the same exact day. One reason I got you taking a progress picture every single day, so I'm actually able to see from one day to the next. And I'll probably end up going back and just doing like a time lapse over the 75 days from whenever I was fat to whenever I, was at the very end of the program, just to see the full difference in between day 1 and 75. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you following along with me. Yeah, dude, let's fucking get it, man.